Hello everyone, welcome back to Bricks and Dragons. I seem to be having more issues here today with my camera. Everything's starting to get a little bit blurrier with it, so I may have to start seeing about getting another camera, so I really do apologize. Just trying to get things going here. Today I'm not really working so much on any role-playing stuff or video, anything in relation to that. I kind of binge watched the current 5 episodes of The Bad Batch, so I'm just kind of going off on a little bit of my thoughts, my feelings, and everything else on that today. Little warning, if you haven't watched it and you don't want any spoilers, I'm not trying to spoil anything, but things I had kind of hoped for. If you want to skip this until you watch it, by all means, go for it. So here we go. So picking up from last season, we had Omega get captured, and she was with Crosshair. So we have Crosshair here. Now Crosshair, at the end of the season, last season, he had shot a officer, and he was kind of captured, so we're kind of brought up to that. And he's being brought back into the fold with the rest of the Bad Batch. You start seeing that he's starting to get some doubts about the new Empire and all that, which is, I think, a very good way of bringing him back in. This season seems to be kind of centering a little bit on some of the issues that he's having. He is kind of running into some other issues here. He's getting a little PTSD, I think. His hands are shaking. I think we have a character arc that's really going to be good for him. It's a little darker for some of the kids, but for a lot of us adults, I think it's perfectly fine. Omega is this very optimistic, kind of a Luke Skywalker mentality, which I really enjoy. She's really kind of keeping the group together. Unfortunately, last season we lost Tech. I'm hoping, and I realize that this is really kind of far out there, but I'm really hoping that what we get to see is maybe Tech didn't fall to his death. Maybe he actually fell, was recovered, and we get him back into the fold. But time will tell, because we are going a little darker on the things. Maybe he doesn't make it back. I'd love to see him come back, but like I said, time will tell. We'll have to see what happens with him. And of course, then we have Wrecker and we have Hunter. Hunter's still very, they're still their same characters, and I got dust everywhere, as always. I don't know why my basement just gets so much dust in it, unfortunately, but it is just the way the world goes for me. But Hunter's, he's been looking for Omega along with Wrecker. They've been kind of doing some different mercenary work, trying to get some information and all that. They're still very much themselves. And in the last couple episodes here, we get to have Fives back. Fives? Fives. I want to say Fives. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. I want to say Fives. And he's still doing pretty good. In some regards with his hand like this, I'm surprised they haven't gotten a attachment that they could give him a mechanical hand that would attach onto this that he could take off. That in the series would actually be pretty neat to say he's been cyborged out, but he can still take this off, or he can put on a artificial hand and still do everything he was doing before. That would be wonderful. There is some tension when we bring Crosshairs back into the fold. They're kind of leery of him because he's kind of betrayed them, which is very understanding. This Gonk droid, which is a power droid, is actually from a different set, but it fits very well with them. Like I said, I'd love to see them come back. Everything's flowing pretty good. I don't know if this is going to be our last season. I don't know if Filoni's going to have to kind of tie everything up. here at the end of the season or not. If you believe some of the rumors that are out there, it doesn't sound like Disney's doing the greatest, but rumors are rumors. I don't know what to say. I'm just in small town Wisconsin here, so as far as that goes, I couldn't tell you one way or the other. I just know that I do enjoy the show. For anyone that hasn't watched it, I really recommend watching The Bad Batch. Watching the animated Clone Wars, I think, is very nice because you see some of the character arcs that you just couldn't get into during the movies. You get to see some of the other things that really starts making Anakin start thinking that maybe the dark side isn't as dark as what he was kind of told. So when he does go to the dark side, I think it leads a little bit more explanation as to why he would be willing to believe in that. I think there's a lot there. And then to see them bring the Bad Batch in as a kind of, it's a special forces unit. And I know I've kind of made a comment before. To me, Hunter is like John Rambo. We got Wrecker here, and he's kind of, he's got some intelligence, but he's very childlike. So kind of in some regards like that hulking brute or whatever, kind of like the Arnold Schwarzenegger from some of his movies, but a little dumbed down in some regards. But he has a heart of gold, so very lovable. Crosshair kind of saw a video, and he's kind of like a coiled snake, just ready to attack at when he's needed to. He's got a good heart way down, and Omega seems to bring that out of him. Fives is looking out for all the other clone troopers. He's trying to see everything there, and Tech really kind of filled out, some of the other stuff. I mean, Fives can do some stuff, but Tech was just that huge brain power, and kind of down and centered. Really, they worked very well together. I'd love to see Tech come back. I'd love to see them all as a big group again. But time will tell. We'll have to see what direction that they go. And the oddest thing is they do bring up, and I know that they've kind of brought it up in the past, that Omega is actually quite a bit older than they are. She was from, their Series 1 clones. So she was an original, but she's been aging slowly, where all the other clones had been kind of forced to age a little faster. And they're trying to work some of the other things out here. The direction that this can go can it can split off in a lot of different ways, and we'll have to see where they go with this. I think it is very nice to see this series going the way it is. Unfortunately, to say it this way, if it wasn't for Star Wars, I think I wouldn't have gotten the Disney Plus. I'd have just kind of let it go. But even with what they're putting out right now and the turmoil, it really makes me wonder if I really want to pay for another year when this subscription ends. I just don't know. It'll be something I'll have to kind of wrestle with. More than likely, I will pick up another season of Disney Plus because I do enjoy all the different Star Wars stuff that we get. And, as much as I may or may not like some of the things that they've done with Star Wars, I still love Star Wars. I love Star Trek. I love all the science fiction stuff. Unfortunately, in today's world, to sit there and say what is canon and what is not canon, unfortunately, more so today than ever before, I guess it's up to the individual. So for me, when I play these as role-playing games and I add these different features in there, I will take and pick and choose that this happened, that didn't happen, this went this way, this went that way, whatever. And I guess that's perfectly open to interpretation. I can easily add the Bad Batch in to my world because I like to believe what happened in the expanded universe is what happened in my role-playing game. But that doesn't mean what's going on with these guys because there is an arc that happened to all the clones. All the clones really got kind of used up in trying to create the dark troopers. You know, the phase 1, the phase 2, phase 3. Phase 1 was heavily done by the clones, and then they had a lot of issues, and then they wouldn't give them any long range weapons. It was all hand-to-hand weapons. So, you know, depending on how you want to treat lore in those regards, you know, everyone's going to do it a little differently, and I'm not going to sit here and say it's right, it's wrong. Everyone's got to have their opinion. Everyone, you know, if you make your world, you make your world. Kind of like if I'm doing, or when I'm doing a Fallout, I'm trying to research a lot of stuff, and I worry that I'm going to have some FBI agent knocking on my door going, "Excuse me, sir, we've noticed some of the things you're looking up." You know, that always worries me. Because you know, when you're looking up like what happens in nuclear attacks and stuff like that. So, you know, the video games and everything else, they've done their own things. I'm trying to have better understandings because, I mean, it's not stuff I really have to worry too much about. At least I hope not. I mean, the way the world is today, nobody knows. And I don't want to get political for one side or the other. I don't, you know, I think both sides have a lot of crookedness to them and whatever. And wherever else you are in the world, whatever views you have are the views you have for the reasons you have. And your views are your valid points. Whether I agree with them or disagree with them or whatever, I can always sit here and say, you know, I don't agree on these things, but it's still your valid point and you have it. The clones, with them being decommissioned here and them being shoved out, it sounds like a lot of them are being rounded up to be experimented on because, you know, the Empire looks at them as they were bought and paid for. They're no better than the droids in a lot of regards. They can run whatever experiments that they should. You know, I could see a anti-clone movement because if they're vilified, they're sitting there saying they're some of the reasons why things are the way they are, or whatever the case is, you know. We'll have to see how the series goes, see how everything goes. But I just wanted to throw my thoughts out there for today. Let you know where my mind is, at least currently. Who knows, maybe in a week or so, maybe my mind changes on some of this stuff. You know, it all ebbs and flows. Like I said, though, I love having the series. I'd really love to see Tech come back. We'll see if that happens or not. I'd like to think maybe he fell, got captured, got healed back up, and they're waiting to use him on an experiment, and then they find him somewhere. But time will tell. All I can say right now is at the moment it looks like they may have a planet that maybe they can kind of settle on and just stay out of everyone's way, live out a nice long life. Hopefully that's the way things go. Hopefully these clones get to know what it's like to actually rest and not have to worry about the next mission. But we'll have to wait and see. With that, thank you so very much for joining me. Thanks so much for listening to me ramble on and that for my views of the Clone Wars world and you know, universe and all that. I'll see you in the next video.